Welcome back, grade 8s, and today we're going to have a look at scientific notation. Please don't forget to like our videos and also subscribe to our channel. Please also tell your friends about this channel, alright? You don't want to get the knowledge all to yourself. Sharing is caring. So, what is scientific notation? Well, basically, if you have a very large number, scientific notation helps us to write those large numbers in a shorter form, alright? So scientific notation works with powers of 10. You've already learned in the topic of exponents how to write the base as well as the exponent, right? In this case, the base would be 10 and the exponent would be whatever number, but it's probably going to be big. Okay, so we have our primary number there. Okay, let me not use the word primary. Now you're going to think prime numbers. But yes, we have our number there, whatever it is. It could be 5, and then it will be times 10 to the power whatever the exponent is. So let's look at some examples. If you were to write 1 in scientific notation, it would be 1 times 10 to the power 0. Remember, with the properties of 0, any number raised to the power 0 is 1. Let me just show you. If I say 100 to the power 0, that is just 1. If I said 459 to the power 0, that is simply 1. If I say 1 million to the power 0, again, that is 1. So any number to the power 0 is 1. So hence, 1 times 1 will just give you 1. Okay, properties of 1. I hope you remember. Now 10 can be written as 1 times 10 to the power 1. Okay, because any number raised to the power 1 is itself. Alright, so if I say 14 to the power 1, it'll just be 14. If I say 1,000 to the power 1, it's just 1,000. So any number raised to the power 1 is itself. So 1 times 10, which is simply 10. Okay, but this is how we write it in scientific notation. 100, well, that is simply 10 to the power 2. Okay, 10 times 10 is 100. So in scientific notation, A becomes 1, all right? And then we have 10 to the power 2. And then 1,000, 10 to the power 3. So 1 times 10 to the power 3. And then 10,000 is just 1 times 10 to the power 4. And I hope you get the drill. But that is how we write numbers in scientific notation. So now let's look at 40,000. Okay, so 40,000 can be written in expanded form. So before we even go into scientific notation, try to expand it a bit. So we have our 4, right? That represents the A that we were talking about here. And we try to write 10,000 in terms of 10, because scientific notation, 10 is our base. So 10,000 would be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So there are 4 tens, right? So we say 4 times 10 to the power 4. This is scientific notation. Okay. And then now we have this table over here that I want us to have a look at. So 420, if I were to expand it, it would be 4,2 times 100. And 100 is 10 times 10. Okay, so basically scientific notation would be 4,2 times 10 to the power 2. What about 45,000? Okay, well, for that, you could have said 45 times 1,000, right? And 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10. But in scientific notation, we don't want to use 45. We want to use 4,5. Okay, 4,5 times 10,000. And how can we expand 10,000? Well, it's going to be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. 4 tens. So in scientific notation, it will simply be 4,5 times 10 to the power 4. So if you have your calculator on scientific notation, okay, here it won't really show it because it's still a small number. Remember, with scientific notation, we want big numbers. And we will get to that. But basically, if I were to say 4,5 times 10 to the power 4, you will see that you get 45,000 back. Okay. Now 3,474, this is not such a nice number to write in scientific notation, but let's do it. So we can say 3,474, and we're multiplying this by 1,000. Okay. Now 1,000 we know, let's just write 3,474. 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10. So basically, I'm going to round this up to 2 decimal places. Or maybe let's say 1 decimal place. So I'm going to say 3. If we're rounding off to 1 decimal place, this 1 decimal is there where 4 is. So I look at the number next to 4. If the number next to 4 is higher than 5, then this 4 turns into a 5. Okay, if I say round up to 2 decimal places, it would have been just 3,47 because I look at the number 7 and the number next to it is 4. 4 is less than 5, so the 7 remains as it is. But anyway, let's go back. 3,474. So I'm rounding it up to 1 decimal place. That's 3,5. And I'm going to say times 10 to the power 3. And then the last number, 23,334. I am going to take this number 2,334. All right, and multiply it by 10,000. Okay, because I put the comma here. If I put the comma here, I was here, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another way of actually knowing if you're going to have 10 to the power 4 or 10 to the power 3. But anyway, it's 2,3334 times 10,000. And we already know that 10,000 is 10 to the power 4. So basically, if I round off to 1 decimal place, I'm going to have 2,3 times 10 to the power 4. Now, what did I just do here? Let me just show you with this example. If I have 3,474, initially my comma was here. Okay, and how many times did I shift it? I shifted it 1, 2, 3 times. So I can say 3,5 times 10 to the power 3. Even here, if the comma was there, I can take it back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4,5 times 10 to the power 4. And here, if the comma was here, it shifted 1, 2. So we have 10 to the power 2. So that's another way of seeing what you're going to put there. 10 to the power 4, 10 to the power 3, and so forth. Okay, if there's anything you don't understand, please do comment below and I'll try to explain it again. Or your friends who see this can also try to explain. Okay, now let's look at an exercise. So exercise 3.4, write the following in scientific notation. So we have 19,000. Okay, so I can say I have 1,9 times 10,000. All right, and I know that 10,000 is 10 to the power 4. So I can say 1,9 times 10 to the power 4. Or what I just showed you now, the comma is there. So how many times is it going to shift? It's going to shift 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1,9 times 10 to the 4. All right, now we have 23,456,321. Now, how are we going to write that in scientific notation? This is where scientific notation actually comes to play. So, I have my comma there. Okay, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's much simpler, né? 2, 3, 4. If I round up to 2 decimal places, or no, let's just make it 1 decimal place. 2, 3. Now I forgot. Times 10 to the 7. That's how much we moved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Or you could have said you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1 times 10 million. Oh my word. Okay, so that's basically 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 7 times. So I think the bigger the numbers get, I really don't want to write it in this form and say we have 10 fours or no, we have 4 tens or 7 tens. I think this method of taking the comma from the end and then counting backwards, that works better. All right. And if you're rounding off to 1 decimal place, then it's 2,3. If you're rounding off to 2 decimal places, it's going to be 2,3. And I look at the number 4. The number next to it is 5. So I'm going to have to raise it up. So it's going to be 2,35 times 10 to the 7. If it's rounded off to 3 decimal places, it could have been 2,34. And then there's a 5 here. Next to 5 is 6. So that 5 is going to go all the way to 6 times 10 to the 7. I hope you get the drift. Okay. Now see, we have 97,342. Okay, so our comma is here. We're going to shift it 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 9,7, 3 if I'm rounding up to 2 decimal places, times 10 to the power 4. All right. Ooh, and the last number, I don't even know what this is. So this is a million. This is a billion. That's a trillion. I don't know what that is. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to say 4,2 times 10 to the power. So here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's 4,2 to the power, 4,2 times 10 to the power 19. I think that we can check in the calculator. So it's 42. 1, 2, 3. Okay, another 3. Okay. And then another 3. What's wrong with my calculator? It's jamming. So 1, 2, 3. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Oh my word. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Another 1, 2, 3. So do you see that? It writes it for you in scientific notation, which is 4,2 times 10 to the power 19. Okay. And that is it for scientific notation, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.